The story of an innocent child's kidnapping. It was a cold winter evening when Shahryar went to the market with his mother. He was just a 7-year-old innocent boy, full of curiosity about everything around him. That day he was holding his mother's hand, walking beside her, unaware that a single moment of darkness was about to change his life forever. The market was crowded with people. Shahryar's mother stopped at a shop and told him, "Stay right here, I'll be back in just a few minutes." Shahryar nodded and leaned against a wall, watching the hustle and bustle around him. The bright lights, the unfamiliar faces, and the noise of the market fascinated him. But in an instant, this fascination turned into a nightmare. Suddenly, a stranger approached him. He had a fake smile on his face. In a gentle voice, he said, "Son, your mother asked me to bring you some chocolate." In his childhood innocence, Shahryar believed him. Without a second thought, he followed the man. But as soon as the man firmly gripped his hand, a strange feeling of unease crept over him. He turned to look for his mother, but by then, the man had already led him swiftly out of the market. The bright lights of the market faded behind him. The streets became quieter and more desolate. Shahryar's small world had suddenly transformed into a terrifying void. The man placed him inside a car and tied a blindfold over his eyes. Shahryar cried and screamed, but no one was there to listen. The car sped down the road, taking him farther and farther away from safety. Meanwhile, Shahryar's mother returned to the spot where she had left him, only to find him missing. At first, she thought he might be hiding nearby, but after searching the entire market with no sign of him, her heart sank. She screamed his name over and over, but there was no response. Soon, a crowd gathered around her. Someone called the police, and within minutes, officers arrived at the scene. Seeing Shahryar's mother weeping helplessly, everyone felt a deep sense of sorrow. The police immediately checked the market's CCTV cameras. A video surfaced, showing a man holding Shahryar's hand and leading him away. The sight was devastating for his mother, who nearly collapsed in shock. The police quickly created a sketch of the suspect and launched a search operation. Meanwhile, Shahryar was locked inside a dark room. Darkness surrounded him, with only a flickering light bulb overhead. He sat in a corner, trembling with fear, unable to understand why this was happening to him. Suddenly, the door creaked open and the same man entered. In a harsh voice, he said, "Stop crying. If your mother gives us the—" Shahryar couldn't understand what money had to do with all this. He just wanted to see his mother again. Tears streamed down his face as he sobbed uncontrollably. But the man showed no sympathy. Turning to another accomplice, he ordered, "Call his family." The police continued their search. They scoured the streets surrounding the market, questioning everyone they could find. A day passed, then another. Shahryar's mother had cried herself dry, her eyes red with grief. But on the third day, a breakthrough came. A new CCTV footage showed a man taking a child near an abandoned factory. Without wasting time, the police planned a raid. Under the cover of darkness, the police surrounded the factory. As they entered, they heard faint cries from one of the rooms. They broke down the door, and what they saw left them stunned. Shahryar was sitting in a corner, his hands tied with rope, his eyes filled with terror. The police quickly untied him. The kidnappers were arrested, but for Shahryar's mother, nothing mattered except holding her. When Shahryar returned home, the entire neighborhood gathered to welcome him. Joy and relief filled the air. The criminals were handed over to the law, and Shahryar's mother finally breathed a sigh of relief, grateful that her son had returned safely. This story is not just about one child. It is a lesson for all parents. The safety of our children is our greatest responsibility. Whenever we go to a market or any crowded place, keeping an eye on our children is crucial. A single moment of negligence can sometimes lead to a lifetime of regret.